this is another version of our online lesson, and we have a topic for today as requested: book value per share. So let's start again. As I always do, we start the topic by defining what is book value per share. Here is the definition. Book value per share daw ay it is the amount that would be paid on each share assuming the entity is liquidated. So, in cases that the corporation is liquidated, there is a specified amount that each share of stock should be receiving. So, that's what we call the book value per share. Like this one. If there is only one class of share capital, the formula for the computation of book value per share is this. The book value per share equals the total stockholders' equity. We all know that the stockholders' equity is the net asset of the corporation. No? Then it should be divided by the number of share outstanding, assuming that there is only one class of stock. No problem. No? Outstanding dito is ano lang, ordinary share lang. Wala siyang preferred share. So, very simple, madali lang ito. But, in cases that there are two classes of share capital, it's a different story. There will be an action to be done because we will apportion, no? Yung total stockholders equity, especially during the liquidation, we will apportion that between the two, between the preference shares and the ordinary shares. Kaya meron tayo dito, when there are two classes of shares, meron tayong book value per preference share at meron tayong book value per ordinary share. Okay? So, the best way to understand this topic is by giving the sample and by giving an illustration. Actually, there are three situations that we will be giving today. If one class of share capital is present in the corporation, it is just the ordinary share of stock lang. At meron namang second situation wherein preference. So, in this case, there are two classes of shares na, no? And the preference share is non-cumulative and non-participating. And the other one is preference is cumulative and non-participating. So, since nabanggit na rin yung preference share, no? In this case, we have this preference share, special share ito because they are the ones na being prioritized over the net assets of the corporation. So we will try to illustrate how is this stockholders' equities is being apportioned or distributed between the two classes of shares. Okay, let's start by giving the problem. So sa unang illustration, this is the given data. Share capital 100 par 25,000 share 2,500,000. Share premium 500,000. Retained earnings 2 million and revaluation surplus 1,500,000. That comprises the stockholders' equity. So let's just illustrate paano siya i-compute or i-apportion between the capital or share capital or ordinary share capital and the preferred share. Okay, so ito ang ating solution. Very simple since ang company ay meron lang one class of share. So very simple. Ayan lang siya. There's no problem about this. So doon sa given natin na problem kanina, 6,500,000 the total stockholders equity. Yes, this is the one, 6,500,000 divided by the number of outstanding share. So given din naman yan dito 25,000 shares outstanding. Okay, so no problem about that. We have the second scenario. Ang second scenario natin is there are two classes of share capital, preference and ordinary. The preference share capital has a 12% as to dividends and 100 par value. Outstanding shares 25,000. Okay, ordinary shares capital is 5 million with 100 par and 50,000 share outstanding. We have share premium. We all know that the share premium is the excess over the par value during the distribution of share capital. And we have the retained earnings 5 million. Total stockholders equity as of December 31, 2020 is 11,100,000. Another information, last payment of dividends was on December 31, 2018. Okay, so let's do it. I-illustrate natin, papaliwanag natin kung bakit, paano yan. So in this case, sabi nga natin, preference share is non-cumulative and non-participating. What do you mean by non-cumulative and non-participating? So simple lang. We all know that the preference share is being prioritized over the net assets and also as to dividends over the outstanding stocks of the ordinary shares. So they are prioritized. But in this case, since sabi ang preference share daw ay non-cumulative and non-participating, that means to say, in the process of distribution between them, those dividends, no, that they are supposed to receive in the previous years that they did not, no, that they did not receive is already forfeited. Like as we say here, below, since the preference shares are non-cumulative, the dividends in 2019, actually, the last payment of dividends was 18. But in the 2019, they did not receive there was no dividend declared, no, most probably in 2019. Okay, that is already forfeited. The dividends for preference shares will be for the current year only during the liquidation, no? Because we always we always compute for the book value per share in preparation for any liquidation, kung may liquidation. So we all know what amount each share will receive pagka mayroong liquidation na. Okay, so based doon sa total stockholders equity sa problem, ang sabi dito, the stockholders equity amounts to 11,100,000. That comprises all the par value, the share premium, and retained earnings. So all in all, 11,100,000. But we will be segregating this into two. No, we will be segregating this. We have the excess of par and the value or the amount for the share capital. Actually, preference shares and ordinary shares as reported here are all in their par value. And this excess of par, no, we can demonstrate that yung excess of par na yan is the share premium and also it is the retained earnings. Kaya kung makikita natin doon sa excess of par, 3,600,000. So, ang reported doon, declared doon during the tabulation is the 5 million for the ordinary at saka 2.5 million para sa preference share. Yun yung naka-tabulate dito. Any excess will be here, placed here. Okay? So, to distribute, sabi nga natin, ang preference share is prioritized. So, let's give the dividends first to the preference share, no? For distribution, let's give the dividends for the preference share. Since ang kanyang amount, ang kanyang total par value ay 2.5, that represents, no, 25,000 shares, no, 25,000 shares, 2,500,000 in amount. And since 12% ang kanyang claim as to dividends, so let's give first the 12% to preference share. So that is 2.5 multiplied by the 12%, no, interest rate, or rather the dividend rate for that matter, 300,000. So that will be added to the par value of the preference share, at the same time deduction naman doon sa excess of par. So first, or prioritize si preference share. The remaining 3.3 million, yun na nga yung balance to ordinary na siya, 3.3 million, that goes to ordinary share. So kung ito total natin ang ordinary share, ang amount niya ay 8,300,000. Ang preference share ay nagtototal naman ng 2,800,000. Then, we'll just divide them by the number of shares outstanding. So we can go back to the problem. We can see here that the preference share has 25,000 shares outstanding and ordinary shares has 50,000 shares outstanding. So here it is, no? 2.8 million divided by 25,000 shares is 112,000 per share. That would be the book value per share para sa preference shares. Ang ordinary shares naman, 8.3 million divided by 50,000. Ang book value per share niya ay 166. So, here, this is the distribution to be made when the preference share is non-cumulative and non-participating. Again, non-cumulative, that means to say that the past dividends that they did not receive is already forfeited. Hindi na nila tatanggapin yan ulit kung if ever magkaroon ng liquidation. Kung ano lang yung current year, yon ang ating ibibigay. Ayan, current year. Past is past. And what about non-participating? What do you mean by non-participating? This is a characteristic of the preference share wherein any excess over the previously distributed dividends, no? Any excess ay pwedeng makihati si preference share. But in this case, since siya ay non-participating, that means to say any excess will go straight and will go to ordinary shares, no? Alone, sa kanya na yan lahat. Yon ang meaning ng non-participating. Hindi na niya hindi na siya sasali pa sa makihati doon sa excess. After na na-distribute sa kanya yung kanyang dividends, any excess, all of the amount will go to the ordinary shares na wala nang pakialam si preference share. That's what you mean by non-participating. Okay? Let's go to the another situation here.